Good evening. Am I early? I might be early. Well, we'll see how tonight goes. Obviously, I'm not on the Queer Words page, and I think I've mentioned it, posted it. I don't know. My page is on strike, so we will see what happens. Wait for a few minutes. Still want my glasses. So, evening all. Yeah, sorry about the little bit of confusion again. I don't know what's happened to my Queer Words page. I think it's ill or it's allergic to something. But yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's just been one of those, I think it was from last week, it was playing up. So now I'm back on my personal page. However, hopefully by next week I'll have sorted it out. So good evening. Hi Jenny, oh good evening, my love, you're up. And I know you're doing late, so thank you. Hi Sister Michelle. Hi Melody. Oh, yeah, let's see how it goes on this page, on my personal. Didn't really want to mix, what's it called, business with pleasure, but hey ho. So I'm going to start, because I know it's a Friday and people are self-socializing. So how are we all doing? Is it a thumbs up week? Is it a thumbs down week? How's your mental health? How's your, excuse the pun, how's your black health? What's your blackness saying? Or your brownness, pinkness, greenness, however you see yourself. What's going on? How are people? Tell me how you're feeling. Sister Jen, how's it going? Hi Lou. Yo. Good evening. Yeah, I keep forgetting it. See, this is the difference. Normally, on that one you have to scroll up, but this one I have to scroll up myself. Okay. So, it's been a heavy week. I would say it's been a heavy 2 weeks, to be honest with you. Apart from us being locked still in the protection season. Obviously, we've got everything going on with America, which is stirring a few emotions. Now, I've had a few conversations with the powers that be in my house, and we had to tackle the emotional side of what's going on. So today's topic is emotions. So, before I start, thank you also for those evening Zion. Those who tuned in on Monday with me and my friend Lawrence, thank you so much. We're coming back. I know people are like, where are you coming? We're coming back. We're doing it again. So, back to emotions. How are people feeling? So you've been frustrated and angry with all that's going on. I hear you, Sister Jen. I hear you. Is it more frustration than anger? Because I've been through the whole, I've been angry. I've been upset. I've cried. Who's cried? How did you feel when you cried? Why were you crying? Let's get the conversation going, because today we're talking about emotions. And if you're not emotional, forget about the murdering or what's going on in America. But if you're not even emotional in this time, in this protection season session, you know, let's tap into our emotions. Because I'll be real with you. I've cried maybe the most I've cried between last month and this month, I've cried more than I did in May. You know, Sister Jen said she's frustrated and angry. What emotions have you guys been going through? And how did you channel them? Come on, guys. I need some interaction. Oh, Jen cried. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people cried. I know some males that cried, and they're like, "Boy, sis, is a whole different ball game." You know, I was saying to the kids, they came downstairs and I was praying, but I was praying like an old school prayer, like the old African prayers where it wasn't coming out of love, it was coming out of anger, and obviously God will not answer that kind of prayer. But because I was so frustrated, I couldn't see past my anger. So, on this topic of emotions, I just want to say, what does emotions mean to you guys? Get those keyboard warriors out. And how do people deal with their emotions? You know, I've got a whole list. It's so strange doing it on this one because with my other one I can see all the things coming up. But anyway, let's keep going. Hi Tanya, hi Sister Tan, hi Nilofer. What do you do with your emotions? You know, this week has been a tough week. And if you can only be human and say, if it didn't affect you, be honest. If it's not your portion and it didn't affect you, or you didn't get it, that's fine. You know, I've had to break it down to a few people who are not of my community. And some people have lost friends and some people have made friends. You know, some people have united on this, but now it's where do our emotions come from and where do they go? For example, Jen, and the silence hurts for the people who work colleagues are supposed to be friends and nothing. Yeah, feeling thoughts and eventual actions. See, Mr. Jen, I hear you because you know what it is? The silence upset me. But then my daughter challenged me and she said something. She said, when Trayvon Martin passed away and Sandra Bland passed away, you were still talking to these people. If they didn't react then, what's going to make you think they're going to react now? And I was in my feelings like, what do you mean? But she has a point. There was another thing within one of the schools, somebody's drawing somebody out for saying a racist comment. The person made the racist comment in 2007. So if it wasn't a problem in 2007, why are you complaining about it now? Bo Selector, David Williams, and something else. Nobody complained about it then. So why is it now that they're apologising for what they did in 2000? I'm just saying if it was an issue then, it should have been an issue then. So if it was an issue now, it should have been an issue then. That's just my little few. But anyway, right. So back to Evening Dane. You right, babes? Back to emotions. Talk to me about your emotions. I've been upset. I've been upset because I've been challenged by somebody who said, "Oh, why won't you protest? Why are you not going out to march? We can march. Hey, we could all go march. But what do you do after the march? What is your job after the march?" Because as I said, I don't know those who read my work. My work, what I wrote was, and this is my main point, is my job as a black female mother is to be present. Not just for my children, but my nieces, my nephews, my godchildren, anybody who will have me, I've got to be present. Because I believe in the village structure. So you lot can go and march. But then after that, if you come home and you're not a mother, you're not a father to your community, to your children, to your nieces, then don't go march, sit down. And that's just me. If you know someone who's carrying a weapon, if you know someone who's selling drugs, and you can't tell them, boy, you know what, you need to stop doing that. What are you marching for? You're part of the problem. That's just me. But for me, emotionally, that's what charges me. It's fine. Go and take pictures and that, and I appreciate everybody marching. You know, we're in a pandemic and you're going to march. Cool. Be careful. Wear a mask. But emotionally, what is your job? If you see that boy in that corner who needs £2 to buy food, would you give him that £2? If you see your community, somebody's hungry, would you say, "Oh, do you know what, come let me buy you something"? If you're not going to do that, you're not willing to put the work in, please sit home, don't go much. Because we need to unite. And it's not just a black thing. It's not just a black thing. Because, shall I tell you why? It's very easy for somebody to step up in place of somebody else. I digress, because my emotions are doing what? They're taking over. And I can feel myself going, this is not what I wanted to talk about. This is not what I wanted to talk about. But it's starting. Right, Lou, what's Lou saying? Had the same argument on Facebook, as you know. Yeah, I saw that. But I refuse to argue with people, Lou. I refuse to argue with people. I don't argue my race. I don't argue my colour. I don't argue my hairstyle. I don't argue my belief. So I'm a believer in Jesus Christ. I don't argue that. If you don't believe and I don't believe, we move. I'm not arguing with you. Because the division is enough. So I hear you, Lou. Dean, I'm still in my feelings, to be honest, trying to use the energy to be put. Nadine, using your energy to be proactive, that's you. That's your job. That's always been your job, is to channel your energy somewhere else. That's your job. So do your job, because that's what you're good at. You work with hearts, you work with healing. You know, so even if you're feeling, don't get me wrong, everybody was in their feelings. I looked at my son and I thought, hey, me, my child. But guess what? I'm thankful I live in the UK. Hey, Gems. I've never marched because I believe we need more than that. The unity is great, but we need to actually be on protesting. 100%. What do you do after the protest? This is my thing. After the protest, after the tears, after the anger, after everybody, yeah, you know what? If that was me, yeah. You know, I'm backing it. After we back it and we get on the trains, when you see that young boy, when you see a young boy being, what's the word? Stopped and searched. What do? Do you cross the road? If a police might tell you that, yeah, she's always there. She's standing there, because I'm standing there checking, going, well, you've been 10 minutes on this one boy, you know. I feel ashamed when they find something, but guess what? For all the 3 that they find something, there'll be 1 that they don't find, so I'm standing there. I'm nosy. I like that stuff. Officer, did you find anything? Officer, how old is he? Well, he's 12. So can you stop and search him? No, you really can't. What is your role? And this is, again, it's not a colour thing. It's it's all of us. Back to emotions. I digress. What are you doing right now with your emotions? See, I didn't have a topic for today, and I was speaking about how I was feeling. I try hard as a parent to make sure that, because my children are children of colour, we don't do certain things. And even that in itself sounds wrong. But I'm good. I can put my hand on my chest and say, nah, you know what? I do what I can. And we all should do what we can. Not just in this time, though. It's not just in this week or this month. It's got to be past. So again, back to my question. Emotions. What do you do with emotions? What do you do with your emotions? What do you do when you're angry? What do you listen to when you're angry? I think I was speaking to my friend. I want to say it was Rihanna. Or maybe it was, anyway, I was speaking to my friend and she's like, oh, you seem really hot today. I was like, do you know what? I did the wrong thing. I was angry, so I thought, okay, let me play some old school music to calm me down. Old school music, I went on YouTube, Method Man popped up, Redman popped up, I was Nadine, and then DMX popped up. By the time I finished listening to DMX, my blood pressure, my anger, if I was young and flexible, I'd have been out there protesting, doing backflips. So my question to you is, when you're in your emotion, when you're in your, what do you listen to? What do you challenge? What do you channel in? And who do you talk to? This is a journey. Yep, it is a journey, but I feel like we've been here before. Dean, I'm using my emotions to educate myself and those around me. 100%. 100%. And that's the thing. Now with your emotion, with your emotional state, with your anger, with your frustration, how do you then channel it onto somebody else? And be careful, because there's this thing called transference. And two spirits can actually transfer their emotions. So I'm feeling hot, Nadine's feeling hot. Now I'm talking to Nadine, guess what we're making? We're making fire. So now anybody else who tries to jump into our conversation, if they're not about that fire, then there's no need to join us. Now the thing with fire is, if it's business, it's fine. If it's something personal, it's fine. But when it comes political, the fire can become very negative because it clouds our what? Our judgment. It clouds our thoughts. As I said to the kids, write something down. Write how you're feeling. Nadine, I'm having uncomfortable conversations with those who want to engage in it. Do you know what, Dean? Babes, I'm not even going to lie to you. I've stopped. I've stopped because there's no... I can no longer explain. I'm not explaining myself. I'm not explaining myself. So I'm not going to have those conversations. Oh, is that what you feel? Wow, that's what your thoughts. Cool. I'm not arguing anymore. I'm not giving myself high blood pressure for whatever people are doing. You can't be accountable for them. It's a shame that these people are in your life and they're your friends. But you know what? I like Marmite. Some of my friends don't like Marmite. We move. It's, yeah, don't stress yourself about that. We need to reflect and not react. Yeah. Then I started with hip hop. Then I moved into soca, switch up my energy. That's mad. I love that. So, yeah, because right. I must have been talking to you. The hip hop was increasing my anger. I was listening to DMX. Now, when I was young, if I listened to DMX, my parents know that there's a problem in the house. So I'm listening to it because I'm trying to, I don't know, be comfortable. And it was not helping. The next day I had to bust out some Kurt Franklin and Fred Hammond. I had to watch the whole thing. And I was like, okay, I'm peaceful. But we've got to be aware. We've got to be aware of our emotions. We've got to be aware of our thinking. Don't ask me a question when I'm angry, because I'm rude. I'm rude, and I'm going to keep 100. I'm rude when I'm angry. So your best bet is to wait. Give me a day or two, and we'll take it from there. You need to be able to watch them, your emotions, and acknowledge them. Try almost to stand. Yeah, you're right. But Lou, come on, I love Marmite. I'm sure you had Marmite at school, Lou. But as you're saying though, our emotions, do you know how, if you wake up in the morning and you're not happy, do you know it can go through the whole day you not being happy? Also, I know people who like to be sad because when you ask them, how are you today? They have to have the woe is me. Those people, when you see them and you can, press the button and cross the road. They're energy drainers. I don't care. I'm saying it. I said what I said. If you know somebody drains your energy, I'm saying it again, if you know somebody drains your energy, stay away. Stay away. In 2020, you can't let people be draining you. In 2020, you cannot be letting people waste your time. In 2020, if you know this person sucks the life out of you like Ghostbusters, you know when they put that thing in the ghost and they catch it, you know what I mean? Stay away. They're not good for you. They're not good for you mentally. They're not good for you emotionally. So they're definitely not good for you physically. Know who to talk to. They're called fun sponge. Yes, fun sponges. I like that one. I might have to use it. Yeah, in Ghana we have this word called sapo. It's a sponge. Yes, she's a fun sapo. Write it down. Sapo, sponge. Because they drain the living life out of you. You know, and that's, again, it's an emotional roller coaster that we don't need to be on. How do you deal? See, the funny thing is, as we're talking about emotions. We haven't talked about being happy, because happy is an emotion. But we haven't, because when you're, oh, I'm emotional, I'm overwhelmed, it's always mixed with sadness. But I can be emotional. At my cousin's wedding, I was emotional. I don't normally cry, and they got me on camera. And I'm fuming that they caught me because I was emotional. I was my natural representation of myself. That's it. Celine's laughing. Oh, I ain't expecting nothing. I'm engaging the question that I'm being asked and speak. Yeah. Lou, you need to copyright that fun sponge, mate, because everybody's loving it. Hi, Dean. I stopped answering all the energy vampires. So we've got fun sponges and energy vampires. I'm loving it. But that's it. What do we do with our emotions? Where do we run to? You know? And this could be in... I'm talking to ladies and men. You know when you're in love and you meet that person and they vex you or you're upset. You've got two options. You either go to Khalees, I hate you so much. Or you go to some love songs. That's a different kind of emotion. You know, you're channeling your energy, your love, your sadness to a love song. But then when you're happy, then you bring out the Pharrell song, Because I'm Happy. But in this time now where we don't have other things to distract us, and it's in the news, it's on the papers, how are you looking after your emotions? What are people doing? You know, again, I go back to Redman. When I was listening to Redman, I was on a hype. I think the kids came down, looked at me, did and went. But how are you channeling your feelings? What are you doing with your emotions? Are you still engaging in negative conversations? Are you still engaging in... So I had to take a social media break because the videos were becoming... I've seen that. The only one that I must have watched twice was the FBI agent one, because I thought that was quite interesting. And the guy with the bow and arrow, because I thought, how can somebody lie like that? But I stopped watching social media because it was coming up, and that was angry. I got angry, and then my son's like, "Oh, mum, I'm just popping out. Oh, where's it going? Don't go." Then I'm calling him, causing him stress because I've taken on that energy. My emotions weren't balanced. Don't get me wrong, we will never have balanced emotions. But in this season, how are you looking after your emotions? Those who have nobody and are at home on their own, or those who have a full house and still feel alone, how are you looking after your emotions? What are you doing? How do you do it? So like, for example, if I get angry, the kids get that look, not today. And if my daughter's had a bad day and I've had a bad day, we've got two negative energies in one house, and then we've got my son in there. He's looking at me going, these chicks are crazy because they're both angry. In the future, I want my son to get married. I don't want him to go, do you know, no, I'm not even about this, because my mum and my sister, when they're in the house, the energy was too much. So we've also got to be aware of those who are around us. Don't do negativity. It's hard not to, though. Negativity happens sometimes, but you've got to catch it. And also, it's all right to be negative, because sometimes you've got to challenge yourself. True, in the same way we have fun vampires and sponges, I'm sure that there are times we have been in the same. Tells me that I should also... Compassion, I like that. So yeah, compassion. Good evening, Toby. I like that. Compassion. Compassion for what, though? Compassion because you want to be compassionate, or compassion to the situation or to the person, because they're two different things. Because I could be compassionate to the situation but not the person, because you've put yourself there. But once you tap into your emotion, you know when they say, oh, don't answer when you're angry. Don't answer stuff when you're too happy either, because you might sign up for a 5K run, and you know you can only do 2K, but you've answered because you're, yeah, I'll do it. What do we do with our emotions? Especially in a time like this. Training mentally keeps me sane. Yeah. See, I've seen you training. Yeah. Your training makes me sweat. So I can't do what you do. And I rate you for that, because I've seen you just bop down and do 100 sit-ups or push-ups. That's how you stay mentally strong. What do people do? I love you too. Still ain't doing your push-ups. What do you do? I write. So those who follow me or know me, I write. And if I'm talking to you and I'm writing, just be aware that I'm writing something down, because that's where my energy goes to. So once it's down on a piece of paper, I can actually let it go and come back to it later on. You can offend me. I can write it down, what I'd like to say to you, how I'd like to say it, what chapter I start with, and I keep telling people, watch how you treat me, because when I start my book, you'll be my book. Ha! But that's what I'm saying. What do you do? How do you express love, anger, frustration? I'm not going to use the word hate. Disapproval. Where does that stem from? You know, right now, everybody's emotional. It's not lonely. Some people are overwhelmed with the amount of people that are still in their house. Some people are overwhelmed with the lack of people around. You know, so someone might turn around and say, oh, you're all right, you've got your partner and the kids in the house. Or you're all right, you've got your partner in the house. People are trying to escape. Meditation. Yeah, meditation is really good. I must admit, meditation's really good. And also, I keep saying this, on YouTube, there's videos, sleep videos, raindrops, one with birds, I don't like that one, water, just to clear your mind. But when you're fighting your emotions, I think one of the biggest things I've learned is to stop. You have to stop. You know, I went shopping today and I was laughing, because when I went shopping with my friend, and he hasn't left his house since Corona. So when he saw the line, he went to sit in the car and sulk. I was like, bruv, we've been doing this for 11 weeks. Oh, but I can't. It's fine. Sit in the car. When I'm done, I'll call you. You know, it's all part of it. It's all emotion. It's all emotions. But then my question again to you guys is, how are you now going to protect your emotion? How are you going to channel your emotions? Do you answer back when you're vexed? Do you feel the need to always answer back? As I've said, in my training, I've learned that silence is such a great tool. So when it's too much, shut your mouth. I mean, in the nicest way, but shut your mouth. Close it and breathe. And take in what the person's saying. Because if your emotions kick off, then you can't take back what you said. So you breathe. Charlotte says, these days anger is draining me physically. And I need you to sleep. And I need you to stop. And breathe. Because it's crazy. So the people I'm seeing who's saying they get angry, they're like ladybirds. They're so, you know, nice and prim and proper. So hearing them saying they're getting angry, it's the environment we're in that's causing this anger. It's the social media. I've come off social media once and I'm like, no, I'm vexed. And then, you know, when you're on a good social media platform, you go from one to the other, to the other, to the other. No. Close your eyes, count to 10. Right, so Celine said, get a good book. Right, Zion says, listening to inspirational music. 100%. Prayer has really been helpful. Yes. You must have missed the first part. I said praying for me worked, but I went into the old school African prayers. So my prayers wasn't out of love. My prayers out of anger and frustration. So I had to then say to God, do you know what I just said? I didn't mean it. Please don't go and block anybody's house. But help me, heal me. So those who watched the Kurt Franklin and the Fred Hammond thing, it was amazing. And it was what we needed. Hence why they called it healing. But what else? Why have we gone again to the healing side? Because it's always, okay, this is the healing table, no pun intended. But we're still talking about the healing. What about the happy side? When we're in love and there's butterflies or mosquitoes. It depends what country you're in. I feel like, obviously, because of this season, it stirred up a lot of anger. Worry. Who's worried? Who's not worried, but no, not scared, but worried. Who's worried about what could be coming? What's causing you to worry? You know, I was speaking to my friend, he has no children. He said, but I'm scared because when I do have children, what kind of world are they coming into? You know, I've got friends who are like, so how do we overcome this friend? Well, I don't know, you know. Apart from Ray and nephew and talking to you lot, I don't know. And can I put this out here? Disclaimer. I'm only doing what I feel I can give to people, hence why I'm here. But you guys also give me a lot back. So your feedback helps me know that I'm not crazy. So my thoughts that I share with you and I get feedback, I know, oh, so you're on the same trip as me. So again, I thank you guys for being here. Back to emotions. Brother Richard, I feel like a big switch is coming. What kind of switch though, Lou? What kind of switch could be coming? Because we've been here before, you know, but now we are that generation. No, we're not. We're not even that generation, you know. I'm talking for me and Louise. I'm not talking for anybody else, but our age, we're not that generation. It's the next generation. So it's your brother and my brother's generation. But how are we dealing with our emotions? What are we teaching the next generation about emotions? You know, if you've got a male child and he goes to play football and they lose and they cry, do you comfort them or do you tell them, oh, don't be a sissy, what are you crying for? Let them cry. It's an emotion. It's frustration because we should have worked as a team, or I'm angry. When I watch film, I watch Gogglebox with the kids. They look at me and they go, here we go, she's going to start crying again. Permit me to cry. I mean, I cry at mad stuff. But again, it's just my emotion. When I'm angry, I may cry because God will not permit me to do what I want to do to people. So I cry out of frustration. But what do you guys do when you're angry? What do you guys do when you're sad? What do you guys do when you're happy? What do you guys do when you're in love? All these emotions in the world, what do you do with them? I've even missed my question, you know, I've gone clear. My first question was, what is an emotion? It's a pleasure. Love you, man. What is an emotion? When you say, I've had an emotional conversation, with who? With yourself? Why do you feel the way you do? There's been situations where I've walked away going, nah, Fran, you answered that like a fool because you were emotionally charged. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm learning. This is why I'm sharing. So it doesn't mean that if you see me on the road and you throw something at me, I won't emotionally charge and try and find you. Don't get that twisted. I am learning. So we're all learning. We've got to teach the youth. The youth are watching us. So if somebody, I was in Sainsbury's with Faith years ago. Yeah. And somebody pushed in the line. And I did something that I shouldn't have done. And I went mad. And yeah, whatever. I did something I shouldn't have done. Now, when I'm shopping and somebody's in front of my light, Faith's like, no, Mama, you're going to have it. I was like, no, it's fine. What? Mom, you're going to have it? Ah, you're a waste. And I laugh because I'm like, you know, there's 10% of me that would still like me to say, hey, why are you jumping the queue? But we need to express our emotions when it's happy mood and when we have to share others. It might help others. Yeah, 100% Zion. I actually answer the phone like this. Hello? Hi? Because you can hear that I'm smiling. They teach you that in customer service school. Hello? But we need to. I'm not telling you what I did, Tash. I don't tell people my business. Emotion is a reaction to a situation. I like that. Emotion is a reaction to a situation. That is absolutely brilliant. Because when you're on this emotional journey, as people would say, it's always about your present and your now. And then once you do your now and your present, it becomes your past. So if you do something in your present now out of anger, 2 years down the line, someone will be like, oh, you know, I saw a friend, she's a bit of a hothead. That was 2 years ago. That's not now. So when is it like or let me put it in layman terms, you've got to be accountable for your actions in 2020, so that when somebody talks about you in 2022, you don't go, oh, I was going through a bad period then, or I was not myself then. You need to think and react, but react at the right time with the right emotion. It's not always easy. It's not always easy. I'm not telling you, Tasha. Emotions is a reaction to a situation. I don't know why you're laughing, Tash. I don't know why you're laughing. But yeah, guys, it's just I said guys again, I make myself laugh. It's been a tough, as I said in the beginning, it's been a tough few days, been a tough few weeks. Loneliness has kicked in, being overwhelmed has kicked in, sadness, financial situations have kicked in. There's so many different things that have kicked in with different people. So also be aware of how you react to people. You know, oh, first like, yeah, after this is we're gonna go on holiday. With what money? You don't know if I've been furloughed. Don't ask me stuff. You know, we've got to be aware of other people's emotions, and that's one thing we forget. We have to always be aware of how others may feel, just how we feel stuff. We've got to be aware of how others may feel. And again, it's just something that I'm learning. So I'm not, don't quote me. I'm going through my experience because I am still learning. So I've been trying to pray, to react, but to step away. So there's two things in life. When something happens and you're in a situation, you can react, you can respond, or you can retrieve. There's three. Ignore that. That's three. I tend to now retrieve, respond. I don't react, because when you react from the wrong energy, you're going to come out looking like a clown. And I've done that's happened to me twice, to the extent that I had to call the person years later and say, you know, I apologize for the way I reacted to what your wife said. It's because I had been hyped up. I don't know if you know, those who watch Busta Rhymes with Spliff Star. You see, Spliff Star's a hype man, and he's the right hype man. So I was hyped. So when I picked up the phone, I was like, yeah, you're going to get it. I looked like such an idiot. I looked so dumb. I looked such an idiot because I was hyped up. I was, yes, yeah, you're gonna hear my lyrics today. I'm gonna tell you what everybody else has been thinking. Everybody else is quiet. So only me with a big mouth can tell somebody how everybody else is thinking. No, I look like an idiot. So be careful. I have learned to slow down my thoughts process in order to make the right decision. 100%. 100%. Not to react. Yeah. 100%. You have to slow down your thought process. If you do this is not question time. This is not Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. You're not going to win any money. So stop. Even when somebody says to you, how are you? Oh, I'm fine, thank you. Why are you lying for? You're not fine, thank you. Don't lie. Tell the truth to the right person. So I'm a person, if you ask me, how am I? And it's a good day, you're going to get exactly how I am. So don't ask me if you don't mean it. Channel your energy and your emotions in the right place. Find out why you react to certain people. I've got a nice, comfortable circle. And within my circle, there's other circles. You know, and I know that there's a few people in my circle who can pull me up. I'll be like, okay, I'll give you that. Why? Probably because they permitted me to talk to them about stuff when things happen to them. But if you've never permitted me to talk to you, and me and you don't have that relationship, don't come and tell me that my eyebrows are wonky. That's none of your business. Because as far as I'm concerned, me and you haven't spoken about face cream. So don't talk about my eyebrows unless we've spoken about face cream. Know who to talk to your emotions about. Know how to challenge them. Know how to explain, you know. Explain what you want to explain to the right people at the right time, should I say. You know, and just forgive yourself for when things aren't going the way it needs to go. Forgive yourself for your emotions. Forgive yourself just for being human. You know, don't beat yourself up when things go wrong. Leslie, I'm learning to slow my thought process. Do you know, everybody's learning to slow their thought process down. When my emotional... 100%, Les. 100%. And my points are missed. Yeah. Because sometimes we do that. What I meant was, and you could have a really good point, but the energy and the facial expression behind it, we're just like, wow, okay, you're right. But nobody's listening to your point. Nobody's willing to listen to your point because of your reaction. I'm with you. I've learned to slow that. I do this thing called the padlock now. If I've got nothing to say and it's not, and people have noticed it, and I'm padlocking my mouth because I'm like, and I physically have to go, It's one of those things that in life, oh, what's the time? Okay, it's one of those things in life where, again, as we're maturing, as we have families, we have relationships with other people, we've got to permit ourselves to feel our emotions, but understand why we feel them, understand what the cause is, and understand it's okay to feel them, but don't react too fast. You know, it's not everything that needs an action. We're not Rocky. We're not Hercules. It's okay. Oh, okay, that's what happens. That's how I feel. Come home, digest it, and have a conversation later on. As you guys know, I only tend to do half an hour. I don't do an extended version. But yeah, let me check. Yes, I've digressed a bit today, but is there anything else anybody else wants to add, to bring? I've noticed, Law. Yeah, listen. That's one thing about supervision. Whenever I have supervision, I come back a new person. You could slap me in the face, I'll be like, cool. My face will never be near your hands again. Where back in the day, if you slap me, it's on. It's on. But now I'll be like, okay. So, before I leave, because I'll be leaving soon, I keep my mouth shut and become comfortable in my silence. This is what I'm saying. You see, do you know how powerful silence is? Especially when you're quiet and you're looking at the person like this. Try it. Try it. Do it to your partner. Do it to your kids. Do it to anybody. While they're talking, just do this. Not as many blinks, but just do it. Try it. There is so much power in silence. Oh my days. When I have a client who comes in and they're quiet, I love it. Because I was like, you're here for 45 minutes and you want to sit in silence. And we'll sit in silence for 20 minutes. And then it'll be 30 minutes. Then the last 15 minutes. Oh yeah, friend, I wanted to say, next session, we'll talk. Nobody's fighting you to talk. Sit in your silence. Own your silence. Own your own thoughts. But yeah, I like that. There's no extended... I'm trying to give people enough time to do other bits. So I'm just like, my half an hour or whatever. But yeah, what else before I do go? We've spoken about emotions. We've spoken about how to help our community. And this is, as I said, it's not just a black thing, pink thing, coloured thing, brown thing, yellow thing. Whatever you want to call it, it's not just that. It's a whole community-based thing. You know, so those, as I said in the beginning, those who are going to march, I respect you and I salute you. But after the marching, what are you doing in your house? After the marching, who are you helping? You know, this is for the young boys and girls that I know who will watch this or eavesdrop on their parents on. Don't go and march. Don't go and do protest and then come back home and pick up a knife and then go and fight, or go and pull some girl's weave, or go and look for that girl who said that. If you want to make a change, change yourself, change your mentality, and let's get this money, because this is what it's about, to change the community. They're paying big. They paid Sandra Bland's family some money for her death. They didn't bring her back. And understand, they have a money pot for police brutality. They have a pot for it. So if you have a house and you buy insurance, why do you buy insurance? Just in case something happens. So for them to have a police brutality pot insurance, what does that tell you? We've got to be smarter. If you're doing the protests, if you're going, do it, but do it with that. We're going with this, but not that emotion. Don't be charged. If somebody's next to you and they're going off mad like they're a bad man, don't follow that. Use your mind. It's difficult to me to stop and watch and listen, but I'm learning. Do you know what, I love you so much. It is difficult for you to stop. But you know where that comes from. That's the teacher in you. And that's the teacher in you. So you're teaching somebody. So as long as you're talking, you can't hear them. But if you stopped and listened and be like, miss, but, you know, and I've seen it happen where a child's put their hand up, miss, I've got a question, miss, no, I'm talking, so let me finish talking, miss, my pen's not working. So what you're saying, I can't write down. It's sitting in the silence. It is sitting in the silence. I love you too. Collect those coins like Mario. But this is it. And this is what I'm saying. Moving forward or moving on to our future, we've got to make sure that our future is secured for the next generation and the generation after that. Because I don't want this to happen when I have great grandchildren. And they'll be like, oh, Grandma, what did you do? God willing. What did you do when the COVID March of 2019, 2020? I'll be like, boy, I was going to go, you know, but due to the pandemic, I stayed in my house. But what did you do? How did you educate the other people? How did you educate the youth? It starts at home. It starts with you. It starts with your kids. It starts with your nieces, your nephews. So, as I said, I try not to go over the half an hour. So I'm going to go. Monday, I'm back here with Lawrence. Those who tuned in last week, yeah, the pandemic internet soldiers were taking over our mics, our earphones, our conversation. But we're back here on Monday, 8 p.m. and it is the men's edition. So we're talking about accountability, relationships, a man's view with a women's twist. So women, I've got about 20 questions, so I need another maybe 10. So feel free to DM me questions. And then the week after that, I'm with Mr. Dre. You'll see that coming out, and that will be talking about communication, mindset, and positive thinking. I want to say that's what I think it is. Oh, do you know, I'm loving all the hearts. I heart everybody. But yeah, so guys, thank you so much again for A, tuning in, B, bearing with me. And I really appreciate you guys. And this is the 11th show. So I didn't feel lockdown was going to get me like this, but it did. And I think on the 15th show, we're going to invite me and you. We're going to invite people along. And we're going to see if this has actually helped anybody. I've got some good feedback, but I'll be inviting you guys on, so just be prepared. So till Monday, stay blessed, look after yourselves, stay safe, take care.